Picking up where we left off last week, the party had just finished conversing. Oh, you know what? I accidentally picked a mech war. Now I'm hearing pew 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 in the background. I meant to put that in the file simple. I'm so leaving that in the corner, or in the recording though, because that was, suddenly we're Star Wars instead of Dungeons and Dragons. Somebody did make a module for that.
When the ceasefire broke, everyone leveled up.
Oh man. Level 16 adventurers versus the Jedi. My bets are on the adventurers. I mean, I've seen what happens to the Jedi. They lost pretty bad. But, I mean, I don't want to piss people off here, Sith for life.
I can go look and see if I still have the book. If you want to run the Star Wars...
the Star Wars role-playing system?
Actually, someone made it for 5th and it's on Reddit. And it looks like they did a real good job. But, not lightsabers, metal swords. Well, except Flux. Flux, her blades might be some form of weird blade because they fly and stuff. But I digress. On the last episode of Conqueror of Avernus, you all finished the second of fetch quests for Bell, returned to him, dropped some crap off, went and visited Maggie, but not in that order. After which, you returned to Bell, and he gave you the next mission in sequence, demanding that you get a single stick off of a spruce tree located in the middle of a bramble of wood, owned by Arkhan himself. And that's kind of where we left off last game. The party was on their way. So what I'm going to do is just do a switch over to the map of Avernus. Of course, I pop it up behind a screen so I can't see the darn thing or click on it. There we are. So you can see a good chunk of this map and how it all works. And how you'd be at Bell's Forge over here. The players have been advised to fly to Arkhan's tower, way across the map over here. The journey itself will take you at least 10 hours, possibly 12, as you cross overhead. And I will say you notice the river below. The river Styx that once flowed so strong through this plain is but a trickle of a brook now, with the red-stained shores, all that remains for where the once mighty, gushing waters flowed. So I'll go ahead and ask, any stopovers? Are you just gonna fly straight to Arkhan's?
I think we did all our stopovers before we went to Bell's, I think.
Oh yeah. See, this is the problem with the DM giving you a flying boat. It's like, oh hey, where you want to go today? Anywhere? Let me prep 15 maps.
How long is the trip?
About 10 to 12 hours, depending. I basically do a roll for the additional time. I like the fact that Avernus constantly shifts, so I kind of measure the map sometimes and say, yeah, 10 hours, that sounds about right.
I presume are we resting during those hours at all, or are we...
Your character, Kieran, would especially probably be resting. Because, as the trip starts off, as you're leaving Bell's, and this would have been something your character would have noticed shortly before getting to Bell's, but as you are leaving Bell's, you can't help but have your character rub his head a little bit, as you seem to be suffering from somewhat of a headache. It's noticeable enough to the point that, while on the trip, you feel a soft tap on your shoulder. When you turn to look on the airship, Rhea's standing there. She's rustles through the bottles on her hip, and she pulls out one that she holds over to you, a nice red wine, as she nods.
You look like your head's been bugging you a little, buddy. Maybe just a little drink to help out, hey?
Oh god.
Not that the party are winos or anything like that, but you know.
I mean...
So yeah, your character is suffering from a mild headache.
Why?
You're not 100% sure why. You couldn't determine a magical means that would have caused this headache, because you're a wizard. Harry, you're a wizard, so you have no trouble doing the basic checks on yourself and all that. You're like, I got 12 hours and a long rest and 4 hours to burn. Hang on, why do I have a headache? I'm not hungover. I'm not sick. I'm not under the effects of any spells. This is weird. And it comes with the typical things with a headache. Maybe slight irritation, sensitivity to light, those sort of things. But it's the edge of a headache. Not enough to be like, I need to go grab Tylenol, but
Yeah.
just enough there to annoy you.
Okay, so assuming a rest then, a rest's 8 hours of time that's just resting, basically.
Yeah, you're not doing too much on a long rest. You can do some basic remedial things like
Yeah.
making notes and things like that, but
Oh yeah. I just kind of wanted to know, just because like for times that I'm not resting, I'm probably going to be spending copying stuff out of Nimbar's book.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to finish some of the spells I have. So.
Yeah.
meanwhile Nimbar's like, I got 10 hours, maybe 12. Okay, I'm gonna figure this out.
Okay, so how does this work? All right, and then, but why would you do it this way when you could do it that? And sit there like picking your mind as you're trying to write a scroll.
Oh yeah,
trying to understand.
You get a moment where I almost said Damocos again because I was looking at the Discord and not at the other thing. You get a moment where where he's leaning forward over the sheet. I know it starts with an I. Wow, how did I forget your character's name?
Isaac.
I know it, Isaac. Thank you.
yeah.
You need to update his name in Discord.
I really do, and I need to drink more coffee. I'm gonna do that right now. Because once I see the other one, it just messes with me and it bugs me. And
Yeah.
Here we go. And then you get it stuck with the old name, and you're like, I know it. It starts with an I. I know it. Usually know all the names. I'm very strict to say which one I'm referring to, but you'd have a moment for Nimbar where Isaac would be leaning forward, just making a slight edit onto one of the symbols and lean forward and be like, you change that one up, you're going to be a baby by the time this is done, and not in a good way. Nimbar be like, oh, I see. Magical runes on high-level spells. A lot of it very strange. I will also say, if you didn't have Isaac there, specifically to show you how to transvert these spells, so if you find one of these spells in a spell scroll, for example, you would have a considerably harder time if even being able to learn these spells. So you might have to funnel any new time magic spells if they're given on a spell scroll first through Kieran's character before going to John's character, to make life easier and also for thematic purposes.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, your character's a speed reader. They'll just flip through the scroll and throw it to the side, be like, it's another fireball. And Jade's like pocketing it. Freaking cross-class Kamehameha wave wielding.
Yes.
You can ride, you can drive the land vehicles, right?
Yes, she can, because she came out driving up on the bike.
Proficiency with land vehicles or with sea vehicles would be based on your character's background, usually. In case you're checking on that one there, Courtney.
I don't see it anywhere in like my proficiencies, but definitely drove one.
Let me take a quick look at your character here. She'll just be under the background. I'm pretty sure you have land vehicle proficiency.
I guess it doesn't make too much of a difference if you have one or neither. You just need to pick which one you want to learn first. Because I think we've only got 3 drivers for this boat, so we're going to need to start teaching people.
Don't see it.
Oh yeah, you have the criminal contact as your background. And I don't believe that affords any vehicle proficiencies. You can still drive vehicles, you just don't get proficiency bonus with them. Now there is a way around that. You can be taught how to use these vehicles by people. I think I said it takes 3 long rests of training for each person. For each thing to learn. I was very arbitrary with it, but that worked actually pretty well. It took everyone forever still nonetheless.
Yeah.
There are some backgrounds, like if you took the sailor background, you'd have proficiency with sea vehicles. I'm assuming sailor's a background. It might not be, but there's something in there that sounds about the same. There's
yeah,
also...
I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
it's sailor/pirate, something like that.
Lots of good things in there. So it's easy to learn how to pilot a vehicle. The reason this is being brought up for Bellamy's sake, if you have both land and sea vehicle proficiency in my games, you can pilot airships solo. Otherwise, this airship requires 3 people with a combination of either land or sea vehicles to pilot it.
Ah.
The party's had enough time that a bunch of them have both proficiencies now, so you'll often see only one person piloting the ship at a time.
So, question: if Flux had to drive the boat on her own, which I'm sure she learned because she would have only needed 1 or 1.5 training sessions since she already had land vehicle proficiencies.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I already wrote it in as infernal airship. I was gonna ask, do I need to add like boats, like vehicles, water, or whatever onto my thing? But
It's my
I
own
already have it
specific
done.
creation, so yes. There is actually a
Okay.
spot there for your proficiencies. We just added in airships.
I wrote infernal airship in my. I must have just wrote it in, or you did, or something. But it's there, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, because that gives you a proficiency with any air-based vehicle. If you were to pilot any other one, you'd be like, wow, this thing is really slow and moves like a brick. So easy to pilot. Versus that speedy little thing that you've got on the team right now. Airship tech is still pretty rare, thankfully, in most of D&D stuff. That way it's still cool when it shows up, right? Well, a 10-hour trip is how long it will take. Any shenanigans before you arrive? Otherwise, I'm going to switch the map over as you draw near Arkhan's tower.
Easy on the throttle, Bellamy. Easy. Easy.
All right, so 10 hours. I'm going to teach myself. Actually, I suppose
You
Kieran's
get 2
resting
hours.
for 8, so I get 2 hours.
Yeah.
Want to try and teach Duga to sing?
And that... Duga has a rather interesting voice for singing, for sure. Which one did I make him? This button here. I mean, it's like... He's not bad, but he can't hold a pitch.
Love it. Love it. I think it's beautiful.
He makes a good a cappella in the background as part of the instruments, though, because of the weird way his voice works. And sorry, Kieran, were you about to ask one there, too?
I was just gonna say, like, which spell were you looking at starting on?
Yeah. So, question: with learning spells, do they have to be written all at once, or can we break them up over multiple days?
We could break them up, or at least that's how we were doing it with.
Oh yeah, you have to be able to break
When
them
I
up.
asked
You've
last
never
time.
learned them.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
for Bellamy's sake on this one, just as we're jumping back, if you spend 3 long rests total teaching Duga how to sing as you're doing now, they will get proficiency in performance.
Fantastic. That is the best information to know.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, his stats are still going to blow, but you know, it's going to be awesome.
That's not the point.
Now, that isn't an offer that's extended to the players, okay? Duga has natural talent and abilities and skills, and I'd like to give him a thing or two as we go as a sort of reward. If a player's like, I'm going to gain proficiency in performance, Bellamy, teach me, it ain't happening. Last thing I need is for Jade to be more broken.
Hey,
Damn.
what's wrong with Jade having all the skills?
Yeah,
He
literally
already
all-
has all the skills. He's jack of all trades.
No, he's missing like 3. Like, it's just not fair.
I'm missing 8.
Hey. Like, by level 20, I will be missing 1. It's like no one uses insight anyway, marks that off.
I take double jack of all trades so that I can have double half proficiency, so it gives me full proficiency in everything.
Oof. Oh, that is nasty, nasty. Actually, why do
I can't roll below a 10 on anything now.
I should put this on the map, make it look pretty, so you at least know where you're going. Shrink it down a little, though, in size.
And out of the blue, since we have 10 hours, Jade's gonna go to Nimbar and get a scroll sheet and some ink and paper, and he's gonna write a scroll.
Jade's like, I think I can do it. And everyone else is like, no, you can't. And he draws it.
Flux is just gonna be driving the ship.
I think Dean was doing that with Bellamy because he was teaching her how to drive.
Oh, I thought
No,
Bellamy was teaching Duga how to sing.
Yeah, I think she decided that.
Why
instead.
not both?
There we go.
At the same time.
Are they still sea shanties if they're sung in the air?
Air shanties.
Would they be? Yeah, would they be air shanties?
One day the weatherman comes to see One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. You see little Duga singing it by the end.
One day when the weatherman comes and you see me sing and see and rum.
Poor little
Love it.
Duga. Oh. Well then, because you've all got your spells in order and all good to go. Because I always have to stop the game when I'm like, you're traveling for 10 hours doing nothing. Party's like, hang on. We will become stronger now. Setting those aside as you come on approach to Arkhan's tower, you'd see Rhea walking over to Dean's character Alec at this point, and she'd hit him on the arm a couple times and give a nod.
You,
So?
taking that map out there, buddy? It's always blabbing about something when we get to these places.
Destroyed, and that he's gonna have to find something else that he wants from us, because that's not an option anymore.
That is a fair point.
Hopefully that won't aggravate him though, because he might have had designs on that, right? So.
Oh, he's already aggravated, so I'm kind of looking for an excuse to punch this guy in the face. I know it's not smart because he's got a white dragon, but I'm just like, Julian and Flux are both over this fucking wild goose chase for all these magical items all over Avernus. I'm done. I'm so over it.
Yeah.
Crow, is there anything else you might want?
Sorry, I accidentally closed my game window and had to reload. Bigger pain when you're recording. It's like, oh, and then it's showing tabletop audio as the picture, and it's like, oh, that's fine. I love those guys. I use all their music. It's good stuff. So you're looking over like, Crow, is there anything else you want? And he just shoots a glare at you. Make something worth my while.
Got ya. Okay, so the beans are definitely out. You're not. You don't know anyone who would be classed as a druid or a warlock, would you?
He tilts his head to the other side a little bit and goes, what?
No, never mind. Alec puts the cauldron back in his belt. It's a tiny one, so it's less ridiculous than it sounds.
Flux, I got an invisible dagger, man. That's what I got.
Well, I mean, he clearly loves Arkhan, so the axe will definitely get us in.
That might also get us killed for having it since it was stolen from Arkhan.
None of us stole it.
Well, I'm not giving up my sword. It kills too many things too good.
Poor Rhea lost her joke halfway through. Not all of them are a hit. But she is in awe of the 35 that got rolled, and the DM had to break the fourth wall and take control for a second. So he gives a nod. He says, yes, these will do nicely. If not for Arkhan, then maybe some of our troops would make use of these fine weapons.
Should I remove the glaive? I'm sorry, Alan. I just was wondering, did we also offer the glaive and the dagger, or was it just the sword?
He's only looking at the sword at the moment because of how high that roll was. He just picked up the first weapon, like, wow, look at this. Like, Bellamy could even be slowly sliding the glaive back towards Flux. Like, I don't think he cares. Take it quickly. And he didn't technically see the dagger because it's invisible. But he's looking at the sword like, yes, a mighty blade of fire. This will do nicely. Okay then. I will tell you where you can find Arkhan. However, and he shrugs his arms, do not be mad at me if he kills you. He has a temper, that one. Presently, you will find Arkhan.
So just crack her neck.
She's like, I'm ready. You can't be that strong. You will find him praying to the mighty Tiamat. Near here, there is a monument to Tiamat.
I knew it.
Colossal dragon skull near a mountainside. Finding there, you will see our leader, Arkhan. Then he begins to explain where you might be able to actually find this monument to Tiamat. Which is like, you know, right over there.
We just glance over to the giant dragon skull and go, should have really considered that ourselves, I suppose.
Like, I'm picturing like a cartoonesque, like, you just pans the camera over a bit and it's just right there, right? Like,
you know, like, oh, yeah, that works. Yeah, son of a... That being said, he indicates that at this time, as we near the next month, I forgot the name of the month, whichever one follows Oktar. As we near that month that I'll Google later, you will see the cold reeks upon the land, and the mirror of Mephistar somewhat closer than it would normally be to our monument. So dress warm, mortals, or you might catch your death of cold.
I think I tell better jokes than he does.
You do.
You totally do.
For the record, Nightal.
What?
The next month is Nightal.
Nightal.
Nightal? Like the medicine? Nightal?
Pretty much. Nightal.
But
Huh? I have a Nightal map? What? I'm confused.
No. The next month.
Oh, Nightal. Yo, yes, I was gonna say, that's the next month. Why is that? Right, because I asked for that a few minutes ago and I forgot already. Oh, man. I'm happy it's almost break time. The travel to where Arkhan presently resides will take 4.5 hours as you begin to traverse the blistering cold. Bellamy, as the most recent person to come from this area, as you recall riding, you'd be soaring overhead and you'd be looking over and you'd be recognizing some of the areas you recently rode your ride through. The motorcycle still chained underneath the Devil's Ride, technically, still chained underneath the ship that you're on. You get some flashbacks to the colder weathers that you've already dealt with in the north.
Hopefully we find snow.
oh boy, I can confirm that it is chilly.
Very
Nice.
Very cold.
Alan's like, is it Christmas already?
Alec is Circle of the Arctic. Has white dragon scale armor on and a shield that makes him immune to cold damage.
Nice.
Alex sitting there, it's Christmas, I get to go to the snow.
Whee!
Now, unfortunately, where you find yourselves here is not quite so far. The winter seems to have not reached this area, though it's not far away. Though temperatures are still mildly above freezing, it's still cold. Very uncomfortable. You're not far at all from the snow. With that being said, as your airship approaches, the cartographer once again speaks up, echoing its voice from the map, as it warns of draconic devils roost in a giant skull, through which the Dragon Queen speaks with 5 tongues.
Jesus.
I love my narration. It's such a fun thing. And as you arrive, you do indeed see the colossal dragon skull leaning against a mountainside, surrounded by bones the size of houses. Acrid smoke rises from the skull's maw. The military tent has also been pitched among the bones, and parked next to it is a 2-wheeled infernal war machine. Gathered around this tent are a dozen chattering reptilian humanoids with gleaming swords, white scales, and white leathery wings. I'll give you an image of what they look like, because, you know, I love my imagery here. I'll just pull that one up and give a quick show. Disgusting looking monstrosities.
What do you mean disgusting? That's adorable.
Uh-huh.
Well, to each their own.
I'll take 3.
We've fought
Only
them
three?
before, I think.
You may
They're-
have. There's a lot of things in Avernus, right?
Abayashi or something? Because I think one flew over where Flux was fighting and almost one-shotted Alec at some point.
That's the
Yeah,
one that doesn't pull when I went looking.
that was early, and it's when we were defending the gates in El Torel, I think. I was real early.
There was one that had attacked at that time, and it was quite strong at that. The Abishai. The Abishai themselves, anyone is more than welcome to do a religion knowledge check, or history if they want, but history is the higher of the 2 DCs.
I'll do a religion.
What was the other option, sorry?
History. History is a higher DC, though.
Oh, no,
Shit at
the
both.
one religion or history?
Yep.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Alex,
Yeah,
look at
with Isaac getting a 20.
Yeah.
So what you know about the Abishai is they were once a mortal who somehow won Tiamat's favor before death, and as a reward, found its soul transformed into a hideous devil to serve at her pleasure in the 9 hells. They are emissaries of doom that Tiamat deploys as emissaries, sending them to represent her interests in the hells and across the multiverse. Some of them given very simple tasks, such as delivering a message to cultists or taking charge of worshippers to carry out a sensitive mission, while others have greater responsibilities, such as leading large groups, assassinating targets, and serving in armies. In all cases, Abishais are frantically loyal to Tiamat, ready to lay down their lives if needed. Outsiders in Hell. Well, Abishai stand outsiders the normal hierarchy of the 9 hells, having their own chain of command and ultimately answering to Tiamat, and Asmodeus when the Dark Lord chooses to use them. Other archdevils can command Abishais to work for them, but most archdevils do so rarely, since it is never clear whether an Abishai follows Tiamat's orders or Asmodeus's. There is inherent risk in countermanding an order given by Tiamat, but interfering with Asmodeus's plan, that invites certain destruction. The White Abishai, though they are the least of their kind, they fight with a reckless fury, making them ideally suited for bolstering the ranks of Tiamat's armies. They fight without fear, becoming whirlwinds of destruction on the battlefield.
That one on the left kind of looks like my Uncle Fred.
And I'll go ahead and activate the map. I preloaded this one, so it should load really quick.
Some big bones.
Ooh, yeah. Like I said, big as a house. Now, I don't have any of the creatures on the map or anything of that sort at the moment. I don't want to span them out there because, well, Unless you break out into a fight, then I will. But
Demikos is back!
Did that happen again?
And Crickendale's with us.
But Isaac's not here.
oh shoot,
Yeah.
this is an old prep
Or
map.
it's Bellamy.
I gotta quickly swap out the characters because clearly this is an old basis for the map.
Yeah.
You expected us to be here a lot earlier, apparently.
Whenever I put down any map when I'm doing prep, I put all your minis on it where they should be. So it gives you an idea of how far in advance I've prepped. That this was prepped that long ago.
Yeah.
There we are, and I have to bring out Walter as well.
Hey, you guys shouldn't walk so fast. I was a little lost there.
Bellamy's sort of catching up. What's going on? TM, let me see shit. Oh my. So I think I've got that right now. And I've got your Manifest Mind, Floating Swords, all that good stuff.
Thank
now.
you. I just mounted the diff.
Yep. So you presently find yourselves here. With that amount, the dozens of these reptilian humanoids are around the area. It would be madness to try to assault this area without an army. Abishai of all colors nest in the sulphurous caverns behind the skull, and scores of them pour forth constantly. And as you rear in your airship and park it relatively near, or something of the sort, and make your way here, you will most certainly be gaining the attention of anyone as you come nearby.
Yeah.
It is. And I'm assuming you're all walking right up to this encampment, right?
Yep.
And as
Yeah.
you do, you will note a dozen white Abashi at this camp rush forward, weapons at the ready, as they stop and intercept you, one holding a hand up, stopping you in your tracks. Yield, you foolish mortals, and state your business. Only death reigns here for yours. I think this would be a good point for us to take a quick 15-minute break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pee.
Yeah, you're not alone. You are not alone. Probably half of us. Alrighty. So I'm gonna pop the game on pause, and I'm gonna turn the music down so it doesn't echo in the background on everyone. Oop, picked the wrong track. I'll put the game on pause, put that out, and we'll be back, let's say 25, because it's 12:10, give or take, right now.
Okay. And just to confirm, you said the travel is 4.5 hours, right? So we're putting that towards spells?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I asked as a aside in the general because I didn't want to
Yeah.
interrupt.
By all means, you can do what you want with the 4. I actually missed that in the general, because I was, going on about all the stuff.
Thank you.
But by all means, you can always use airtime to do that. Pile into the rest of the table when he rolls a natural 20. Just give me the d8s I have. All the d8s. Yeah, pretty accurate.
I think you heard a lot
Oh, yeah.
when I need all.
Yeah. The old bacon liner. Love it. Alrighty, we will
So
be back.
Trey was rolling
Oh,
sneak attack on a crit? That's what you're saying? Give me the d6s now.
yeah. I almost have enough to cover you with my set. I think I have 15 sets now of one type, but no, we'd have to go to Courtney for those. Alrighty, everyone. I will see you all in 15 minutes.
See you in 15
See ya.
minutes.
Oh, I agree. Oh, I mean, yeah. They die. Painfully. And they're sleeping for max health. Okay, so what we'd have a rapier because that's the most damage that you can get with snake attack.
No. We have a moonblade. We go half out. Moonblade,
Okay,
which is a D8, I think. It's a longsword, so you can wield it two-handed. So it's a D10. And because you can gain the finesse property, you can sneak attack with it.
oh my god,
That sword is ridiculous, isn't it?
just keeps getting feats.
Yeah.
All right, so let's if it has the finesse. All right, so 1d10. How much do you get from a paladin? Um, paladin, divine smite. Okay, so 2d8 plus 4.
Everyone here
All right. So whenever everyone else is back, I am back.
There we go.
Welcome back.
Are we having fun yet?
Nah, waiting on the others to come back.
Okay.
I turned the music back on so people know. Plus, I turned myself off mute.
So, we were bored, so we started talking about max damage and like using all the dice. What we figure was level 2 paladin, and then like a level 18 rogue with like a moonblade. Its base damage is 8d8, 10d10, or sorry, 1d10 and 10d6. And then if you crit, you can double that.
Yeah, there's some fun things there. I mean, if you're talking single solid melee attack hit, the rogue's assassin build for death strike is the way to go.
We were actually looking at that as well, because then it's auto crit.
Because you can pull like... Oh, welcome back. With the assassinate on top, the auto crit plus death strike, double damage, and 2 paladin on top for smite, and maybe barbarian for your last level for rage damage. That could probably work.
So we were thinking, but that only gives you +2 to rage damage, which
No,
just
I mean,
isn't.
it's just a holdout, but at that point you're looking at 3d8, 10d6 plus 14, and then 68 and 20d6 plus 14 for 27 plus 70 plus 14. That'll average out to 222 with a max damage without items of 364 on a single melee hit. That's the best I can think of.
We were thinking instead of barbarian. Yeah, we also looked at that. We were thinking instead of barbarian, we could go a level of sorcerer to up our spell level, so that way we can do a level 2 smite instead of a level 1.
If you're lucky enough to have friends nearby in gear, and let's say you could scrap from this party, you pull a Vorpal Sword, use the Enlarge spell, and a Library of Manual Gainful Exercise to get +5 more to your strength if you're maxing it out to go above the standards. I don't know. Let me see. Someone's doing the math here. 1d4 plus 68 plus 8 to the numbers above. Auto crit 2d8, 12d8, 20d8. There's 398 with a max damage of 660. That's pretty nice. And that's a single hit.
Back, by the way.
Welcome back. We're just waiting on a few other people and discussing max numbers in D&D.
Okay, so I just found one. Max damage with all items, 1,176 damage.
Ooh, that's a pretty good one.
Let's see. Half-Orc Tempest Cleric, level 9. Whispered Bard, level 5. Hunter Ranger, level 4. Paladin 2, with a strength of 19.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's a nice one.
Great Axe does 2d12. Booming Blade does an extra 68 thunder. Half-Orc Savage Attack adds 1d12. Orcish Fury Feat adds 1d12. Great Weapon Master Feat. Martial Adept adds 1d6. Absorb Elements spell 18d6 thunder damage. Searing Smite spell. It's an 8th level spell. 16d6. Divine Strike, Venom Blades, Divine Smite versus Undead, Colossus Slayer. And then add a 4+ sword.
Yeah, but I'm now seeing builds that are completely different, like running a human variant wizard with a cleric and an arcane paladin swap in. Pulls 2,226 damage for a hit, so I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like this is the stuff Dan and I start to do during like breaks and such.
Sometimes, and I mean, though, the truth is, to get to these builds is
Oh yeah, no.
not theoretically plausible for most campaigns. And Courtney's just given herself a quick uninstall and reinstall there on Beyond 20. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
She'll be doing a reboot. She probably was going to try and say that out loud, but we were blabbing too much.
Probably.
All about tech.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Jillian will be on in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
Hey.
practically good to go. We'll give Courtney a second to
Yeah,
pop back on.
I'm a big fan of multi-classing because you get some really fun things that you can do. But when you know you're getting to level 20, like you're gonna miss out on some really, really fun stuff.
Initially in 5th edition, if you multi-classed, your characters sucked. Now with 5th edition, when you multi-class, you end up with characters like Bellamy, who are pretty friggin' rockin'. I gotta say.
You're damn right.
Oh yeah.
I love Bellamy. Like she's great.
Yeah,
That's a good show on how to multi-class, because it's not easy in 5th. In every other version of D&D, it's like, oh, you want a multi-class? Let us make this easy and effective for you. Now you're overpowered, especially 3.5. But in 5th edition, it's like, oh, you want a multi-class? You better break out the Quantum Physics Handbook. This will be a little while.
With the 3.5, the big thing was the prestige classes were all designed to be multi-classed into, and they would like extend any important features of your class that it was meant to go with, but then would add all these crazy things, and you could just go on a shopping list, grabbing all these different prestige classes and building up like a crazy combination of things.
Went through the process of making a Jack of Knives back in 3.5 as a Thief prestige class. I was unstoppable. That class is so broken. It's like, look what I can do with daggers, and the boss is like, what can you do with daggers? You're already dead. Haha. DM hated him. Like, it took me like a year to build the character and go through all the quests and all that. Once it was done, the DM's like, no, it's too shitty, you can't use it. You're like sitting there staring at this thing. Like, this was... You knew what I was building to. You knew what it could do. Why did you? Because it's too strong. You suck. Give me my damn fighter. He's going 2-weapon. No. You can only go 1 weapon in my games. 2-weapon, too strong. Are you kidding? This is 3.5. Magic is what's strong. Physical attacks suck.
Yeah.
But I digress. Oh, Courtney's back. Hey, Courtney, any luck?
Nope.
Damn.
So weird.
We'll figure it out
I
one of these days.
uninstalled and I reinstalled, and it just isn't working.
At least Foundry's a nice system, but yeah, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, let's jump back to it. At least on the plus side, it hasn't been anything too crazy for rolls so far, as the party's been successful in their sneaky endeavors. Picking back up where we left off, a dozen of those Abayashis had come out to stop you, saying, well, why are you here? And I will give you the extra info that the blade has been left with you. The turtle guy did not keep them. He said, oh, bring this to Arkhan. You'll need this to go see him. That was discovered for Krull. And I think I may turn the music a smidge too loud, so I'm just going to step that down in case. There we go. It's background noise. It ain't no concert. If it was, Bellamy would have took Crickendolt along to give her a bonus to her checks. You're gonna have a little band going on soon.
Yep. It's just gonna be the Bellamy show. Flying around Avernus playing music for everyone.
Hell yeah.
So, with the dozen of them standing off against you, who's gonna step forward to chat?
I will.
Alright, go ahead. You go ahead and drop us a persuasion check as you come up to talk with them.
Okie dokie.
Before she does that, does Alec and Jade want to help?
Sorry, what was that? I was coughing my head off there.
No worries. Bellamy is going to be stepping forward to quickly chat up the dozen Abayashi there who are standing against you, while bringing the sword up to show them. The question was if Jade or Alec wanted to assist in any way.
I can give her a little tap with the stick for guidance.
Yeah, I'll assist for the advantage.
Too bad Jade didn't know music instruments. I put that scene up where the one's playing the musical instrument and the other one's saying, "Look at this," again from Road to El Dorado. Because that's him helping out. It's like, look at this sword. It's so cool. So then go ahead for Bellamy and give her a quick roll with advantage and a d4 added on. He's a flipping 35 again. Look at that. That's a good number today for you. 35, lucky number. I was just walking up. Excuse you, I have a super sword. So upon presenting the blade, they talk amongst themselves a little bit back and forth before giving a nod to each other.
I would obviously introduce myself first. Hi, I'm Bellamy.
Which would, of course, get you the traditional greeting back, as one of them they all look at you confused. One of them speaks up, hello, Bellamy. One of them hits him on the arm. He just shrugs at them like, what?
It'd be rude not to.
But I will say these minions don't seem to have much gruff moving out of your way. And they're like, that's a nice weapon, Bellamy. I bet you he would like to see that weapon. Yes, with a nod of his head.
Record. I just
So we can
looked at
pass?
You may. Well, you can at least approach. We don't make promises back there beyond that for Arkhan now, do we, boys? No. The whole group of them giving a chuckle of a laugh. But you can see they've parted to give you all room to walk by without any trouble.
I do want to also point out, like, she got the same number, but she also got the same dice rolls too, 17 and a 4.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah. I'll put that on the recording.
that also just amuses me because like
that's nuts. Let me just
I
watch
wish
that.
I could
Hi,
roll
I'm
half as
Bellamy.
well as. Wish I could.
Want me to roll one again to make sure it's not broken?
No.
No.
Don't jinx it.
Okay.
That's the rule. You roll again, it's gonna be a 1. You know how these systems work. They like to bite us. Oh, but I digress. You have no trouble at that point then, walking up and coming to approach the tent, essentially. With that, as you do approach, you see an incredibly large, hulking form comes from underneath the tent. Before you see anyone else. I'm doing the quick show players on that one so you can all see. This beast of a minotaur who comes out with a glare. You also see the familiar face of a manticore coming out. On the opposite side, and as mentioned, I don't have their minis on, but they're both large creatures. And of course, following Nut steps behind as he throws the cloth to the ground behind himself, is the draconic Arkhan the Cruel. Necrotic hand twitching as smoke billows from it in a vile plume of green. He gives a snarl as he walks towards the group of you, having no qualms, coming chest to chest with whoever was gutsy enough to be at the front. Probably the only time, if it was Bellamy, that somebody wouldn't be looking at Bellamy like, oh, hello. This guy seems like a tough one.
Your hand's a different color than the rest of your body.
He gives a soft chuckle. It often has that effect on people's faces as well. I could show you, he says as he clutches it into a fist. You see the veins on his entire arm up to his shoulder, bulging as he holds his strength back. But I fear that might skip the important question. Which he leaves hanging on air for a moment, as he slowly folds his arms over his chest. Why are you here?
Hi, I'm Bellamy.
And I am Arkhan the Cruel.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, drat. That didn't set him off for once. Well, Bellamy probably doesn't even go drat. The rest of the party's like, oh shoot, he's not even unnerved.
Why are we here again, guys?
We're seeking access to the Bramblewood,
Right.
and Krull said that he might be interested in this weapon in exchange for that access.
Right.
Rhea leans
right.
over and just takes the bottle back from Bellamy and corks it.
when Alex in this little huddle with Bellamy, he gives her another round of guidance because she feels like she needs it. She's asking this question.
That's fair.
Rhea takes a bottle away. Jade pops open the door and stuff and goes, hands it back to Bellamy. Liquid courage.
So we're giving him the
Flame tongue sword.
right, the flame tongue sword.
Oh, and of
Well-
course, Flux, by all means. Since you're standing back there probably looking like a badass yourself, you will have the time if you want to size up Arkhan. I will state that. So give some
Yeah, I'll
thought.
do that.
Eve. So whatever you want to know about him then. But give that some thought because Bellamy, Courtney, you were about in the middle of saying something and I totally cut you off.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was gonna say, so we have this cool weapon that we thought you might like, and we need access to your trees.
My trees. My bramble of wood.
Yeah.
And he lifts a brow a little bit. Are you suicidal? He shakes his head.
I mean, I'm not. I don't know about the rest of them.
Gives a shake of his head. He says, very well. If you can present me with that weapon, I will gladly give you access to the bramble that you seek.
Okay, cool. I don't know if I have the weapon or not. Whoever has the weapon can.
It's like it passed
Jade.
between three hands, probably Jade's.
It passes through all 10 of Jade's hands. 10 hands.
Jade passes it to Jade, who then underhands it to Jade, who passes it to Bellamy. Everyone's confused, but somehow Jade managed to do this and it made sense.
Uncanny dodge.
If you can dodge a Ren, you can hand yourself a sword? What?
So Arkhan will take a moment to pick the blade up as he looks it over and examines it and gives a nod. It is no Fane Eater, but it will suffice in a pinch, though fire is not useful in this plane. He pauses and looks back towards the party. I will not begrudge your suicidal request for such a simple thing. I do not need to kill you if you seek to kill yourselves, adventurers, he says as he spins the blade around and sets it casually upon his hip.
I mean, we're pretty strong. Like, have you heard about some of the stuff that they've done? Like, they're pretty cool.
Then he gives a nod of his head and he goes, oh, without a doubt, those of you who fly upon a metallic contraption in the sky, the word of your deeds certainly moves across the face of Avernus. Flux, what's your max HP?
212.
212? Finally, someone has more than you.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Arkhan has more health than Flux, because she posted she wanted that, and any known levels. I don't think he specifically has levels in any classes for spellcasting or anything, so he's just, naturally beefy.
Which level was he in Critical Role? was like 17 when they were fighting, or 19
That
when they were fighting
sounds
Vecna.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
somewhere between 17 and 19.
that sounds
Yeah.
pretty accurate. He also, you
yeah.
note, wears a full suit of obsidian flint dragon plate. It's a legendary plate mail, which gives a +2 bonus to AC and resistance to poison and damage, and advantage on ability checks and saving throws made to avoid or end the grapple condition. So, you know, I'll tell you that as meta knowledge, but you'd see obsidian flint dragon plate forged of fine quality. Also, you also can feel from him a vile aura of hatred that certainly makes the troops beneath him stronger. It doesn't seem like an aura that would affect players, but you know, when a creature has an aura, I like to point that out because you can feel that barreling down on yourself, pressing against you like an uncomfortable pressure. Arkhan, meanwhile, is presently checking out his new sword.
So, are you gonna tell us how to get to the Bramblewood?
And he gives a nod of his head and he says, "Certainly. Dress warm." And he makes an indication on the mountain range that's beyond here, bringing you about 3/4 of the way to the Mirror of Mephistar, not even remotely that far from it, in fact. So you know, the cold north. And he gives a nod. "There you will find my bramble of wood. Though I should warn you," he gives a chuckle as he starts to walk back towards his tent, "you're not the first to come looking for that place. I was recently visited by a warlord, you see. An interesting monstrosity of chains wrapped around physical form, riding on vehicles. When was that?" he says to one of his troops, who gives a nod of his head as the Minotaur looks down. "Just yesterday, sir." "Yes, just a day ago. He came looking for my brambles, saying he was searching for swords within it." And you see the smile on Arkhan's face spreads a bit wider. "I've already told him how to get there, so you may want to hurry, or he'll beat you to the punch. But that's even if you can survive getting in. Good luck."
Can you tell us really quick who it was? Was it?
Well,
It was Kovic's.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was Princeps. Okay, that's who I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
Arkhan even pauses as you have that little discussion. He looks back, smile still on his face. "He was driving this rather interesting blue-tinted vehicle. Very beautiful in design. Looked quite nice. I'm sure," he says as the smile broadens, "you'd all agree if you saw it, that it's quite the beautiful ride." You get the impression Arkhan knows it was yours, and takes some small joy out of your suffering.
There's a lot of tension here.
Arkhan
See, just
nods.
by... Oh, sorry.
So I was going to say, Arkhan would nod when you say that and say, "Well, of course. You stand at the gates of Tiamat's monuments. Do you realize how many things here are waiting to kill you and eat you? How many things here simply do not because I said to them to yield?" And you see he looks sideways towards the open dragon's skull, and looking inside there, just out of this corner of your eye, you can see that it's filled with legions of these things. Where you're presently situated, if Arkhan were to attack you, sure, you could probably cause him some serious losses, but you actually can't guarantee a victory out of this one. The numbers are against you. Again, not me being an arse. That's the book.
Yeah.
Bellamille just laughed
I-
nervously. Take step back.
Yeah, well, it's a good job we've got no beef, really. I was going to say, see, just by, like, looking at, like, this arm of his, am I able to see? Like that can't be healthy. I was wondering if I could do some kind of medicine check just to see like that can't be good.
You can
For
go
you.
ahead and give me a quick medicine check to see what your character notices from a distance.
Yeah, I think. I'm recalling earlier we found out we knew about that arm though, or at least I think those of us who rolled on our checks about him, right, and
Yep.
would have explained
Since
that
you
that's
aced,
the
since you aced it so high above 25, you knew about the Hand of Vecna, and now our druid's
Yeah.
looking at it like, can I do anything about that? No.
Because I mean, the picture looks sore. It's just more like is it affecting him in some way?
You can definitely tell the necrotic energy from the hand. Roll an Arcana check. Now that you've done your medicine check and you can see the intricate weavings of how the hand binds to the body, your character can roll a knowledge Arcana check as you try to examine what that hand's doing to him from a distance.
Everybody ready for a laugh?
You might get a 20.
Oh no!
Hey, that's
Not bad.
I was expecting far worse.
With an 18.
I think every time Alex has made an Arcana roll, he's rolled single digits.
Usually, it's not been great. As for Arkhan's hand, you notice that the flesh beyond the wrist, down to the forearm, and even somewhat to the biceps and triceps, is showing the initial signs of corruption. The hand is in fact slowly corrupting Arkhan's flesh and decomposing his body on one side. 2 points to Dean for that one, and a point of inspiration, because that's right out the book too.
Ooh. Does anyone need the inspiration?
I
I
do.
could use it.
Alright.
Either
You can take it, Isaac.
if you're willing to hand that to me.
And if you want to roll another Arcana check on knowledge, or history for this one, go right ahead. See if you can unlock all the info.
Ooh, they're both +1s, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Alex like, I think I heard something before, and everyone's like, what? And he pulls out glasses. Well, it would have seemed that.
Will I make my dad proud yet again? No.
Aw.
You believe there's a way to reverse the effects, to try to control the hand, so to speak, but you can't think of it off the top of your head, but it does make you somewhat sick to your stomach. Like, your character's like, there's a way to undo the effects, but, oh, I don't want to remember it.
that tracks. Oh, I think I may have made this.
I will go ahead in Discord and post up a spoiler. So, if anybody wants to read it, by all means. But I'm not giving any more information than that, because that's what the book said.
Is Mooncolor the Mahadi's unicorn?
That's what the spoiler says. It's like, I'm opposed to spoiler. John's like, I'm a reference to spoiler.
sorry, I was just...
No worries, bud.
Yeah, that was dumb of me. I'm sorry, guys. If you didn't want to know, I'm sorry.
So I posted that one up just for the info on that one. It'll be on and goes through that way. But if anybody wants, they can always read up on the book on these things. Where they give me official material, I use it. I love it. It's good. But Arkhan has no trouble indicating where his Briarwood is. And also indicates a day ago somebody's already gone on their way. Are you going to have to fight another one of the rulers of Avernus as they steal Dusty's swords? Again?
Probably. So let's hop in the airship and head over.
Sure.
On the road again.
Thank you for your time, Arkhan. Much appreciated.
You see, he smiles, looks back, looks confused for a minute, then gives a smirk and gives a wave. Goodbye, Bellamy. All of his troops look very confused. But Arkhan, he knows what's going on.
Flux is just gonna kind of look over his shoulder on the way out and be like, "Hey, Arkhan, what do you think about all these obsidian dolls anyway? Pretty wild, huh?"
And that smile grows ever broader. Didn't I already tell you, my dear? Suicide.
Oh, boy.
Wouldn't you think, as you're all getting ready to go to the ship, Arkhan says, wouldn't you think for sure, with such weapons under thumb, I wouldn't have already tried for them? Good luck.
Well.
By the way,
And
I looked
will
it up.
say, the look that Flux can see in his eyes and on his face, it's just like Bell when he sent you to places that he thought was going to kill you. And sorry, you said you looked something up?
I looked up Arkhan the Cruel, and his stats probably changed since when he appeared on Critical Role as to like when he was like brought into the canon. But I could tell you what he was in Critical Role if anyone's curious.
Oh, yeah, you're on crit roll stats?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was,
He was level 17. Multi-classed.
It's like a paladin something, isn't he?
I mean, I was waiting for Alan to give me the okay. Yeah.
I went ahead and posted a spoiler link for Arkhan's stat block in this adventure specifically.
Yeah.
I didn't read the stat block, I promise. I just looked at Critical Role wiki just because I was curious about what his levels were, since I already kind of asked that question and you weren't sure.
Yeah, the stat block must be way different because his HP was on par with like a PC at 17.
Well, he technically is. He only ekes Flux health by a very small margin. He's a 221, that much I'll give you, because unless you specifically go back and try to beat him up right now, you don't have a fight with him at the moment, right? Would have been more of an issue if you decided to go with this in a more violent way. I mean, it's doable. You're level 16 characters, and you have a flying airship. You could be like, oh, they're all down on the ground, start firing. Or any number of things you could have done. I mean, it would have been a mess, because there's so many of them. But you decided not to go the fighting route. You went with the conversing route. The link I gave, though, that'll give all of his stats. The basic ones that are important, 23 AC, 221 health, and he gets 3 weapon attacks a turn by default. Yeah, some other things like innate spells casting in the hand, but... Oh, sorry, what was that, Courtney?
I was just... That link didn't bring up anything for me, except for a big picture that says internal server error, and a thing called a beholder zombie.
Oh, you got a glitch. If you reload
I got the same thing.
That's weird.
A beholder zombie? That's my nightmare fueler tonight.
That should
What
load.
Is it that thing, the little cutie?
If you're logged into D&D Beyond, it should load. But you know what I'll do instead then? I am going to take a...
It's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, this will take a half
Courtney, what you do, click... So, I did the same thing. Not the big box, but the black box above it. Click that and then click the link there, and it'll bring it up. Because I, too, also hit the D&D Beyond, which took me there and was the server...
Oh... Okay, I got it.
Yeah, no, I did the exact same mistake.
I was like, a beholder zombie. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm going to delete that out then. I put his actual stat block in, but I can't mark it as a spoiler on this. So, there's all the info if you wanted to give him a read over. He's pretty tough, but he is designed for slightly lower level characters to be able to take down.
Yeah.
So it'd be a fight, though, because he has an army. That's DM stresses this with an underline army.
Yeah. Numbers almost always.
Mostly, you don't want to roll that many number of people.
It'd be like, okay, these 15 act on the same initiative, these 15 act on the same initiative, these 15 act on the same initiative. Et infinitum. Oof, it'd be nasty. But I digress. So then,
Yeah.
with...
I was going to say, as we're boarding the airship, Alec would share that hand looks like it's killing him.
I forget. I suppose even if Nimbar didn't know, actually, how much would Nimbar know about the hand?
You can always do an Arcana roll for specific knowledge on the hand of Vecna. And I will point out that as Alex says, oh yeah, the hand looks like it's killing him. You're going to see Rhea takes a moment. She gives a small elbow towards Isaac with a nod.
Let's hope it does him in right good.
Can I do some kind of check where I came into the group later? Can I do some kind of check to see if I remember anyone else from the group?
Well,
No,
I
this
think
makes the
Isaac
least amount of
even-
sense.
Yeah. I think Isaac's even newer than you are, and he's having this feeling, right?
And it was only for a brief second after that, whatever just went through your head that you had the thoughts of, yeah, no, we're missing a person, but that feeling's immediately gone. Oddest thing. So then, to the northeast.
To our death!
Hmm? Well, it's a 4-hour trip, as mentioned, and I'm going to clock the clock forward 4 hours. No, it's a new day now. Look at that.
Oh, did
Anything
you
that
say
had to
4
recharge.
hours?
Oh, yeah. Anything that recharges at 7 a.m. has to get a recharge now.
Are we worried about not having slept through the night? Like, should we? I guess we probably can't take a
I assume
long
that
rest now.
when we're traveling for like 10 or so hours, we're doing some kind of slight shift rotation where we all get a rest.
We could just extend out 4 hours to 8 and just...
We're on
rest.
we're on the clock this time. It's the
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about.
Oh.
Princeps is already in there.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I'm also worried about.
Don't worry
not
about me,
having
guys.
not slept enough.
It was a good plan, but for once I'm putting the throttle down on the players. Like, oh, by the way, DM says he doesn't want to make this easy for you, so.
Well,
Fair.
yeah, so we flew from Bell's Forge to Arkhan's Tower. That was 10 or 12 hours, and then we must have only spent a couple of hours at the Tower of the Skull, so we're still... I guess it would be like getting towards the end of the day, so we should be okay for another few hours,
Yeah,
at least.
Yep. There was a long rest during the long jaunt that we made, yeah. Or at least I took one.
I also rested during that personally. Does it make sense?
Hard to track time.
Yeah,
when
well,
the
I
sun
had to
doesn't
drive
set.
the boat, so because nobody else wants to.
Well, if you want to rest for this one, Jade would do the driving. He did
Yeah, thank you. I know you would.
4 hours isn't long enough for him to do anything spectacular.
Halfway through the drive, Rhea takes the controls like, stop doing tricks!
Do a
Poor-
barrel roll, everyone flies off the deck.
Poor Nimbar's hanging his head over the side of the deck, Isaac rubbing his back while he's throwing up. They're just glaring at Jade. Jade's like giggling. I'm joking, of course, but you know.
Could I try something weird on this journey, at least for an hour or so?
Well, you're a
I'll-
druid. There isn't very many things that you do that aren't weird.
So they keep talking about this this person that we're missing, and I don't know if this is getting a bit too mystical, but I've got quite high perception. So when you hang out with people long enough, you tend to get like a feeling of their presence, like just their impression being around you. If I was to try meditating for a bit and just seeing if I can feel a gap somewhere.
Okay. I see where you're going. You can go ahead and roll some checks. So if you're going to be going into your If you got any druid magic or anything like that to whip out or to reference, by all means, you can feel free to pull those up.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got any spells prepared that would necessarily
So then,
help.
what you can do while you're meditating is a straight ability check on wisdom, as your character reaches out into the ether as they meditate in druidic fashion. Unless you can think of something wonky to add to that.
I could get my imp and have him take the form of a raven, and then start to caw, so it's like a bit like background noise in nature. I could turn my stick into a tree, but I need earth, so I don't think even a pot of earth on the ship would do anything like that. The only thing I think I've got that might help is there's a spell called Guardian of Nature. Only lasts a minute, but it's mostly combat focused, but it lets me take the form of like a beast or a great tree. Don't know if that would.
Are you trying to get advantage on this right now?
No, I'm just trying to see if there's. Because this is not really anything in the rules. This is just like a kind of thematic meditation thing.
Do you tell Nimbar what you're planning to do?
Probably doesn't say to anyone. He's not making a secret of it. He's like preparing a little space. So I guess if I was to make,
Okay. If you'd like, Nimbar can do this. Make 4 sounds.
But yeah, I think it's just going to be straight wisdom.
I was
guidance help with this.
It's an ability check, right? Just without any proficiencies?
Yep.
At the moment, now you're throwing out a bunch of options that might make changes. But as Dean himself has said, well, we're kind of going beyond the rules here, and we're seeing what can we mix together.
Want some bardic inspiration?
Yes.
Well, I was thinking
I give you bardic inspiration.
I can give you advantage on the deck.
Duga runs up, clears his throat, la 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 la, gives a nod as Bellamy starts playing on her violin, and he sings along with, gives bardic inspiration. That's all I just imagined.
I'll say to you, like, if you need help, I can at least give you some assistance. I take up like a pearl.
Okay.
All right, I will cast then because it's an ability check. So, Fortune's favor. You get to basically. It's not advantage technically. It's you get to choose. Or so. You can dismiss the spell to roll an additional d20 and choose
super
which
advantage.
You made. Yeah.
Wow, you could stack that with lucky and have like quadruple advantage.
Yeah. This is one of my like.
That's dirty. I love it.
Spells from the Chronergy. Yeah.
Yep, that's dirty. I love it.
Okay. Right, now it seems like we're cooking with some stuff, okay? So, I'll roll my straight wisdom check, kinda run my hand through the raven form of my imp, and listen to the nature sounds for the minor illusion and the notes coming from Bellamy's violin. Take a deep breath and just...
And are you using the Guardian of Nature to transform yourself?
You know what? Why not? Trees have roots, and roots can detect things. So let's go. Why not? Let's do the tree form.
It's around this time. Rhea's gonna look at Flux as you see Alec turning into a giant flippin' tree on the deck. She's gonna look at Flux, shake her head a little bit with that look of, I'm not a spellcaster, what is this crap? You know what I mean? And then look back, take a drink, At the same
Also,
time,
just be like, he just does that sometimes. It's fine.
Okay. Right.
and as you've got Nimbar making the sounds of nature fill around your character, and Bellamy playing a beautiful strain with accompaniment from both of your friends, because, you know, Crickendolt's jumping up to like, oh, hey, I'm good with the music. Hey. He just picks up a spare instrument from Bellamy, like, I can play this. And he's got some natural talent. He's no Bellamy. He is the king of metal, after all. So that gives a little bit of a boost. So that'll give you Bardic Inspiration with an additional +1, since you're in a calm, relaxed situation and I'm in a good mood. The Bardic Inspiration will get a +1 for the boost. Fortune's Favor will give you advantage on your Wisdom roll. And since you have transformed yourself into an exact force that is bound to nature, I'll give you an extra +5 to the roll.
Nice.
Yep, and that's also because Nimbar is playing the sounds of nature that you're able to really just let yourself go here below the clouds. So you go ahead and give me that Wisdom roll with advantage, with a +5, and with the Bardic Inspiration roll with a +1.
Okay, right.
Mind you, this whole process takes about 20 damn minutes. You're inventing a ritual. I don't know, but I'm having fun with it, so roll it. Let's see what happens.
What's your Bardic Inspiration die at this level, Bellamy?
It is a D8.
1d8. So it's 22 before.
+5 for.
So 27, and the extra +1 for the Bardic thing is like 28, something like that.
As the ship flies, and you let yourself relax and meditate, letting your mind slip beyond the confines of physical form in such a way that only druids and monks, because monks meditate, only in a way druids can. For the briefest of instants, you feel such an overwhelming sense of sadness, a sense of loss. And truly, you know there was supposed to be someone else here. But it is for the briefest of instances that you can reach this level of enlightenment, the briefest of moments, before the feeling is completely lost. A single tear trailing down your cheek, the only remainder of such feelings. So yes, it does appear there was one more of you. But what in the 9 hells happened to them? And since you all already have it, inspiration for the whole team for figuring that one out.
Well, hey, Nimbar, good inspiration.
Inspiration again.
Ah. Rhea's like, even me? No, Rhea.
I feel like every time we find out a little bit more, I'm just more confused.
Yep.
And there's no like meta knowledge. Like y'all really don't know.
Oh, we have no idea.
No idea.
I'm so confused.
Okay.
I can
Even
I
better.
can only guess. I can only guess it has something to do. My best guess is it has something to do with Dusty, but I really, really don't know.
Well, we know he's gone. Like,
Yeah.
we never don't forget that.
Yeah, I know, but like
Same with like Nilkrates and Rodman,
Yeah, and this
and
is
now Demikov.
yeah, and this is somebody that apparently even Isaac is noting the loss of, which is not like, you know what I mean? Like for him, he's only been here for a short time. He's never met any of those people, right?
But it started before, like before he got here. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Anything?
it's a very.
This started in the last campaign.
This is a. Ooh, this is. I'm.
It's clearly a
Okay.
mystery at the very heart of the entire
But
campaign.
by
that you've been
by
running.
the end of the campaign, if we don't know, I'm going to your house and killing.
Yeah, that would be fair, because it would be like the worst.
By the end of the campaign, like, like I can understand, like throughout the campaign, stringing it along, fine. But if you don't answer by the end of it, then we're gonna have a problem.
That's like the one where you're looking at the author after they finish their books. But what about this thing from 2 books ago? And the author's like, "What about it?" And it's like, "You asshole!" No, I'm not that cruel. I like my plot points.
Yeah.
There are a few that I've been putting in for quite a long time. Ever since you started having Dusty on the team, I started making fun plots. So yeah, and this one's an old one. So, but yeah, good luck. So yeah, Alec gets that brief, instantaneous feeling for a moment, you know? That sadness that someone's missing. But you just can't get any more than that, as hard as you try.
Okay, I don't know why, but I want to say it's Magic Blade somehow. That would be funny.
My thought was like because he died before this, maybe he wasn't supposed to. Because you made it. Because we could have brought him back, and you chose not to. So there was like no real reason for him to stay dead. But we only knew Magic Blade for like a dungeon or something.
You know what happened on that one? I told John, for the only time I can tell in D&D history, the player has the option to live or die their character. So what are you going to do? And he goes, I'm killing them. I want to play the Artificer.
You spent so much effort killing them, and Artificer just dropped. So
that was a fight here. Like,
I can't really say I spent a lot of effort killing them. I'm like, so there's a bunch of people in the next room with a crossbow, and his character walks into the doorway and blocks it. Like, I'm going to block this doorway. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. They fill you with arrows.
Spoiler alert, he wasn't sorry.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but no. But then you also had someone spend their turn just do triple attack.
Oh yeah, it was brutal. Yeah. You were just out there, and all the enemies were like, "We will kill him." Yeah, just like Boromir there. That's perfect. That's exactly what happened to the poor guy. Yeah, I just got a picture of the Discord. I wonder if I can paste that in. It let me. Yay! Right further to Discord.
Can I try my divine intervention?
Ooh, the big bad power.
Doesn't always work, but when it works.
The odds are never in your favor that'll work.
0.0% of the time.
Hey,
but I'm gonna give it a try and just see if I can figure out the name of who this person is that's supposed to be with us.
Alrighty.
So I roll 2d10s and I have to get under what level are we now? A 16.
16.
Well,
you should be able.
Level or your cleric level?
It is. That is a really great question.
Cleric
Equal
level.
to or less than your cleric level.
Ouch.
So I have 10 levels in cleric, so it has to be less than a 10.
Fingers crossed.
There's also a D100 button in.
Oh, you're
Boundary
right.
Keep Courtney. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this is the time to roll low. Okay.
Here's the thing. Can I
Get a 1, baby.
my inspiration to re-roll? How does that work?
I don't think. 1 second here.
Yeah, I think broad.
You are rolling a 100 for a specific case. Inspiration. Oh, 1 second here.
I think it's only ability checks, right?
Yeah. Like I don't think it counts as
attack,
a check.
roll, saving throw, or ability check.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't work for this. You got to roll the 100 and hope. I mean, you are literally requesting a Deuce X. So.
Yep. All right, here we go. Oh, nope, nothing. For the shot. Sorry, guys. I don't know shit.
The god just
It's
says
okay.
My violin.
the name of the ally is Bellamy. You're like, oh, damn it.
That's me.
Oh man, that was worth the shot.
Alec will awkwardly try and hide his tear that he sheds. Like, someone's missing. What? Yep.
No clue as to who though.
And Rhea passes
So
the
just
bottle.
kind of like walk past him and shoulder check him, but also hand him a hanky.
Yep, that is important. It's important. Yep.
And Rhea passes him the bottle.
Yeah, it's allergies or something.
But no one here knows anything.
Nope. It would seem not.
I was hoping she'd come forth at this point, but nope.
I have a quick question.
Yo.
I have unfailing inspiration. Did his check fail? Is it considered
No.
a failed ability check, attack roll, or saving throw?
Oh no, Alec passed his because he got all the info he
Okay.
could.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty nuts.
That's
Yeah.
all he could.
If it fails, then he would have gotten to keep the dice.
That is nuts. I like that. But no, he did pass, so your dice check did pay off.
Okay.
Actually, if
Okay,
I'm correct, he had a 28, so without your dice check, I'm not sure he would have passed. Let me double check the math here. And he got a D8 with a 6. Yeah, no. He would not have passed without that 6.
Awesome.
What is the oh my gosh. What's your class again, Courtney? Like, what subclass of bard are you?
I have 10 levels in cleric and 6 in bard.
But what kind of bard? What college?
Oh, eloquence.
Okay.
College of
Yeah,
Figaro plot
a lot of
device.
real cool language stuff. Like, I can have like 4 of you speak any language, like universal speech, for like an hour. Like, I can basically
Cool.
talk my way out of anything.
Rhea looks Bellamy dead in the eyes at that one. Gives a bit of a glare, and she's like,
Wait, hang on. I could have told that little turtle dude off too? Oh.
and she keeps making her way to the side.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like Nimbar's like strategically placing people so that way everyone's within 30 feet of Isaac or Nimbar.
I think the boat's that long. Ah, well, so long as you're in the middle, you'll be able to catch them all, so. Well then, Jade, you go ahead and channel your inner Dusty Crazy as you try to floor it high and dry above the wall. Because the second you cross, with full throttle on, it fires obsidian spikes at you, a volley of them, like a ranged attack. So you go ahead and give me a dex saving throw. And yes, if your reaction's available, you can also use the juke, which would give you advantage on a dexterity saving throw. And since you are proficient, you are able to add your proficiency bonus to the throw. Also, does anybody remember the stats for the ship? I have them here somewhere. I think it's in War Machines. Just a second.
I checked the character sheet that you have up in Foundry, but it's not filled in.
Let me just see here.
It's all tens.
Don't forget, Jade, you also have Bardic Inspiration, which you can use towards saving throw.
Because the rule is you use
Alright,
the
is it-
vehicle stats.
I don't know. Yeah, we only got Fertile War Machine and the Soul Fuel. So,
Yeah, I gave it an 18 for dexterity based off of the Devil's Ride, a similar vehicle with a sort of maneuverability. So it has a +4 dexterity bonus. And since you have proficiency, Jade, you'd also get your proficiency bonus on that +4 for the ride. You can also use your reaction once per turn, as you are aware. So you know once, to give yourself advantage on a check, should you want to give yourself advantage. And as the first volley of spikes come, you're going to need that dex save. Then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the ship's stats. Yeah, they're all garbage. I'll have to find them. They might actually be back on my Roll20 account, which I might have deleted. I know I had written something up for it, though.
Okay, so you said 18 dex, so it's a +4 there?
Yep, +4
Then
plus
my-
your proficiency. It's kind of like you've transformed into this thing, you know? It sort of works the same as polymorph. You're using its stats for the check.
and we're level 16, so we get a +5.
Yeah, I'm at a +9. Whatever I roll, a +9.
Which ain't too bad.
Wait, can we guide? Oh no, I suppose that this is a dex saving throw, right?
Yes, they are. He is doing dex saving throws to dodge the spikes that are flying
He
in at
does
the ship.
have a D8 if he needs it.
And he can use his reaction to get advantage one time if he needs it as well. You're not sure how many volleys you're going to have to dodge, but this is the first one.
Not bad, not bad.
With a massive
I'll go with
precision.
that.
You spin the ship as darts fly past, managing to dodge. Now keep in mind, granting yourself advantage on a roll has to be done before you make said roll, right? So the juke action that the vehicle possesses, which is a standard action for a Devil's Ride, for Tormentors, and things like that. If it's able to move, you can use your reaction to grant it advantage on a dex saving throw. So you can only do that once, and you have to call it beforehand. And yes, more darts are still flying towards your ship. So give me another dex save.
Is Bardic Inspiration before or after that I have to call it to use it?
It's
After, but before you know the result, I think.
can be added after seeing the roll, but before knowing the outcome.
There we go. Perfect. Yes, that is a very nice and overpowered. Jade's favorite answer. Yeah, that one I can do afterwards. As the second
Right,
volley
because
fires.
if it's, I think it's a little low, I can go, no, I'm going to add to it.
A 16. You going with that?
Yeah.
Jade pulls to the right as the ship spins. The next fire of volleys scorching past the draconic wings that help keep the ship afloat. But no damage to the vessel as it sparks by, barely dodging. Duga looks towards Jade, saying a few incomprehensible things. Probably because you just scratched the paint. Give me another dex save. As another large volley, as it seems the wall seems to surge, as an unbelievable volume suddenly launches at your vessel, almost blocking the sky for a moment, like a hail of arrows.
Can I do anything about it hanging over the side?
Oh, right now, from a distance, what you basically see, the wall shoot. You ever see a movie where the archers fire on people?
Yeah.
It's like that. So they're all coming from above, straight down.
Oh,
Big, nasty style.
we've seen them shoot, but they haven't reached yet.
No, they firing. So if anybody has reactions available that can help, by all means. But essentially, the wall,
Okay.
which would normally shoot directly at you, instead this time has fired an exceedingly large volley of arrows in a large arc. You know, because smaller projectiles, different movement speed, etc., etc., blocking out the sky, looking creepy, etc., etc.
There's only time to take a reaction. Like it's not going to take long enough to get here that we could take an action.
No wind wall for you, sorry.
I was going to use wind wall. I was going to use force wall of force. Just
kind of the same
Nope.
concept. But if you have a reaction, that'll help. Because this is an attack against you as you're pouring through. All three of these more or less happened at once. It would be, the enemy gets 3 attacks for doing such and such. You triggered the trap, but at least then you know that I just gave out that this is the last volley. Kind of
I
spoiled
doubt
that.
it. I doubt it, but can I cast... Like... No, I don't... Sorry, I'm just
You need a
No,
reaction.
shield... Yeah, no, I'm thinking shield, but no, that only protects me, so it wouldn't
They give you
do
one
enough.
nice circle on the ship without any arrows on it.
Yeah.
And it'd only be like a 3-foot circle because you're really friggin' short. But essentially, you're getting there with the idea of what sort of things you can do out of the box with your reaction on this one. Yeah, I do make it a little strict because, well, you're spellcasters. You have enough things that'll shake the goddamn world.
Yeah.
Plus, Jade hasn't even made a comment on what he's planning on doing for rolls on this turn. Now, admittedly, if we were talking from a purely badassery point of view, Flux and Rhea and everybody else who has a shield, so Flux and Rhea...
Well, I don't have a shield.
Well, you're like 7 foot and made of armor. That counts, doesn't it?
You are the shield.
My body is a shield.
God damn it, the ship's not a creature.
If you had like 6 of you with shields, you could hold your arms up for blocking. And no, unfortunately, the shield is a magical item, not a creature.
Actually, I have 2
No.
shields if someone wants a shield.
Bellamy just holds out both arms with 2 shields up instead, like, oh yeah.
Alec has a shield.
Needs a shield.
Nimbar has his own shield.
yeah, I can cast shield.
Testudo!
Jade will use his reaction to give advantage for this roll.
Alrighty. So anything else before he does... You swear the ship went upside down twice while Jade was pulling the
Oh.
barrel rolls.
No.
Came up a little funny.
It
Hang on.
added both of them together. That's
But its
only,
highest is 14, so it's
so
a
that's
23.
So it's only 23.
I was gonna say.
Oh,
So you got a 23. Doing anything else
Yeah,
to
you-
that one?
I would do it here at the verdict.
I mean, I had to stop at the 30s because, come on, you got a 34 and you're just dodging arrows. He's a rogue. 23, I'm not going to tell you if that's a winner or not. I'm mean.
I think it's worth using the bardic inspiration personally, but especially considering if you use it and you don't need it, then if you use it and you fail anyways, it's the thing, right?
Yeah, if you use it and you fail anyways, you still keep it.
Right.
It's a D8.
Yeah, it's a D8.
28. As you sear underneath the incoming wave, you pull back on the brake with just perfect timing, and you feel, if it wasn't for inspiration, you think you might have driven straight into the arrows. But, thankfully, you pull back with just enough time to dive beneath the hailstorm of arrows. As the sky is once again revealed to your vision, you note it clear as any other day in Avernus. Move about 450 feet away from the wall, because, your ship's fast, it moves 500 a turn, right?
Mm.
And as you peter down to a slow stop, you note the wall's no longer firing at you. Mind you, looking down at the devastation and destruction to the forest below, from the obsidian pillars, posts, and arrows that missed you, you're quite happy they missed you. They would have done some serious damage to your vessel.
Just like how Dusty would have done.
Yep.
I should just stretch my homunculus across the ship and then just shield of faith or sanctuary, so then they can launch at the ship.
I'm surprised you didn't do something meta, like, I'll cast Liamut's tiny hut, frigate. Do it on the deck of the airship and I'll just stand here, it goes with me. I'm not sure if that would actually work, mind you, I'd have to look at the rules, but I wouldn't be surprised. Freaking shenanigans.
Don't believe it.
The problem with
Always
that
do.
is it's only a 10-foot radius.
Yeah.
So
Half the ship made it.
Yeah, the front half where the steering wheel is.
We got 2 wizards, there's 2, just cast both of them.
20 foot coverage.
I shouldn't be given ideas.
That's not a bad idea.
I'll regret this. So then, you are now floating above the forest.
Roughly how big is the forest?
A couple square kilometers. Thus far, you know of a weird, gigantic obsidian pair of pillars. And beyond that, you know of a building in a slight clearing that Bellamy had found. And I will say, as you've drawn closer, you can actually see, near the middle of this forest, those 2 pillars in the distance. They dwarf the height of anything near them.
I could try casting locate plan on a spruce tree, and it might, if it's within 5 miles, we'll know which direction to go. But it might be easier to do that from the ground, because otherwise Alan will need to bust out the Pythagorean.
It says a radius of 5 from where you are, right? 5 miles from where you are, right? Right? So that's going to be a cone, right? A cone out from where you are, right? That's from bottom of the ground all the way up to the sky, right? Right?
I'm scared.
I'm saying this because that way the
God.
math's easy, okay? You can cast it from the sky without any trouble, okay? I'm being lazy.
I've dubbed the text and I'm running away. I don't
Yep.
like maths.
Within 5 miles, not within a sphere of 5 miles, within a point or a rate. Within 5 miles, that means an omnipotent cone that goes from the bottom of the ground to the infinite sky above. Or maybe a cone that's 5 miles big. I'm not making a 5-mile sphere out from you. I'm lazy. But even then, if you're only like 500 feet up in the air, it won't flip and matter. Because it's only a couple kilometers big. And kilometers are smaller than miles, so we're okay. And Alec is like, yeah, of course, it's right there at the damn obsidian tower. Only one spruce tree to be found in the entirety of this forest. And it's where that tower is.
I want to go to the hut first.
The
Is
hut's
that
not
the,
too far from where that obsidian tower is.
Yeah, I
I would-
don't know.
I was going to guess that the hut is probably in the closest clearing. Is that the only one we saw?
Glancing around, you could see a few other spaces that look like they would provide clearings as well.
Hmm.
The hut just happened to be the random map that Alan picked. When Bellamy's like, I'm gonna use my scry. And it's like, this one.
Well, you know, if someone's living in a hut in this forest and has any answers as to what these dolls are, then sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, that means I can finally change the map. I like this one. It's a pretty map. Don't get me wrong. But you find yourselves slowly floating in. Oh, sorry, there we go. I'll bring you all the way your characters are down here. Slowly floating in. Above the bramble. The forest itself somewhat decrepit, and as you bring your vessel down, before you land, of course, you notice this area seems to be the remnants of a crypt. Bodies lie entombed not far from where you land, with gravestones aplenty, and, true to the dungeon master's word, there is a hut in the middle of this area. It's a little bit tricky to see, as once you've landed, because of the sheer number of small hills and ledges in this area. But what I will do is just take Rhea here and just like bring her over so you can
Sorry.
see.
Are these birds?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Actual
There's birds.
crows. That might actually be what's catching for Bellamy, and since I've done that now. Oh. You see
shit.
crows
Can you-
and ravens. Oh, what's up?
Could you do that again? For some reason, it didn't work for me.
Oh, I'm literally just going across the map. Hold on, let me move the ship here.
Yeah.
Literally going across the map with her just to give the quick
Okay.
and dirty illumination
There
of
we
this
go.
area.
Thank you. Yeah,
'Cause
no,
that'll
for some
illuminate
reason I was
everything.
clicked on Nimbar by default, so I didn't see what she saw.
Oh, that
Kinda
should fill it
weird,
out for
okay.
everybody. So it should get it if
Yeah.
you click on Rhea.
I don't see anything.
Ah, well. In
Yeah,
the
so you have
center-
to unclick your person first. Is the thing.
Yeah, I love the FX that you can use with this one. We got all the birds, and indeed they are. Crows and ravens and other creatures of the night, maybe even a bat or two. They seem to peck at the burnt-out husks of some of the trees in this area, where life seems to not spring forth.
Can Alex see if he can call one over?
It has no trouble coming to you and landing on your shoulder. I mean, you're a druid after all, and with all that nature speak, certainly.
Nimbar will do the same. Because Nimbar can communicate with the creatures?
And it fails miserably. They poop on your head.
Oh.
I'm kidding, of course. I'm definitely kidding, of course, but
Yeah, speak with small beasts.
no trouble getting a little parlay going on with them, but it's what you would generally expect. The chill of winter also grips the air here, and though you can see the lush of green ground, You can feel the frost beneath your feet crunching, looking towards the north, through the gaps in the trees now once you've landed. You can see that it actually becomes winter very shortly in the distance. This cold air bites and probably gives reminders of your various trips this far north. Bellamy, of course. You spent a lot of time up here in the north, so the cold's a good friend of yours. But what you can
Hello,
see in the
old
distance is the obsidian towers and how incredibly massive they are. There's a little bit more woods around them too. I clearly stole that picture from somewhere else. You can see a wee little person at the very bottom of how large those towers are.
Now, is there a person actually there, or
Now,
not just for scale?
a pretty picture.
Okay.
You can do a
Good.
perception check, but you're way, way, way back in the woods, and it's quite a far ways away, and you'd need to roll like 50.
I
Wow.
don't see a person.
No, you are quite the distance away, but because of how they tower above the wood, it's hard not to notice them now that you've gotten close. And I'm also noticing it's about quarter after at the moment, so we've pretty much burnt our time for the day, I would imagine. Well then, I think I'll call it a day here, because this would be a good place to take a little bit of a pause. 1:15 p.m. on the 15th of Oktar, as you have landed in the dreaded Bramblewood. This might be nice, though, for Alec, as I will say, as you look around this area, the grass, though frozen and in a state of hibernation, is alive. The trees exist as real tree and real wood does. This isn't just hell. This is a cut from Earth itself, or from the world itself, it would seem, placed beneath your feet here. Which also means most of your druidic spells will activate normally. Summon a big tree, it just appears.
I imagine if he gets a sense it's real, he'll just kneel down and like dig his hand into the ground and feel real earth. And
No,
snow.
wait. If we dismiss and then re-summon our familiars, will they be owls? Nimbra's gonna try.
But, and that's going to take how long?
Oh, just like no, just using like the features of the.
Oh, yes,
they can
yes.
Pop in and out.
Okay.
Poofs out, poofs back in, and it's an owl standing comfortably on your shoulder, and he's like, whoa. Then you hear in your head, right? Forgot. Can't talk like this. But hey, look, I got my wings back. And he's like, he's already preening himself. The other one's sitting on, the one that's sitting on top of Alec's shoulder just looks side on him. He's like, oh, boss, I've gotten used to this stuff. It's all good. You can switch me if you want, but...
I feel like if I switch you back, the loss you'll feel when we go back outside here will just be dramatic, man.
Yeah,
He gives a bit of a shrug. I'm getting used to it. I'm inspired by that Wilson fellow. He doesn't seem bothered.
Yeah, Comicshire like has accepted, whereas Sir Junior is
Quite
how
comfortably in
dare
his
I be.
form. Saying back to your
Yeah,
character
how
at this
dare-
point, don't let me die
how
again.
Yeah, I need to remain in this form, this precious form to me.
Let's not have that happen a second time. I like being a bird and having wings and feathers and beauty. That is the good thing.
Yeah.
Don't let me die a second time. I don't want to come back as one of those. If I do, fly back here and resummon me. Thank you.
Like to think that Bellamy is just like in the corner playing the very like sad melancholy music that we hear because there's so many birds flying around.
Meanwhile,
I like
Alec,
birds.
Alec and Nimbar are like home.
Duga gets a little tear in his eye from the music.
It's like, you know, like in anime where like the screen goes black and the character just like huddles down and there's like the little purple lines that come out of their head.
Oh god, yeah. And they're like
That's
wavy a
what's
little
happening.
bit. Not at
Yeah,
all comfy.
That's what's happening to Bellamy right now.
And Rhea is going to hand Bellamy a bottle. Like,
With
just
her little
nodding.
pocket piano.
So with that, we are a little over on time today, but I could probably give another 15 minutes or so if we wanted to push forward a little more. But yeah, you did just step into a new dungeon map here, so.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't done it yet, and all this is going on, Jade will ritual cast Detect Magic.
Oh. As Jade casts that, I'm just going to grab your mini and pull you over here. You notice a distinct aura of magic leaking from this sarcophagus, and from the doorway to this rather run-down and worn-out hut up ahead. But I'll pull your character back here for now.
Want to go into the hut?
Oh, Jade definitely is curious and wants to go in there.
That might be for next game, though.
Yeah.
Depending on what's in there.
Yeah.
But I will also point out about the sarcophagus having distinct magical aura.
So, just to clarify.
Oh, wait a second. How much stone does it take to block that? Detect magic.
1 foot?
It's 3 feet?
Is it
Okay,
1
yes.
3?
He can see through it then, good. So it's inside the sarcophagus. I just wanted to make sure I didn't botch that.
Can I just clarify? So, the
No,
center.
no, if it's blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Perfect, we're good then. Perfect. Because the
Can I
sarcophagus is
do-
in the foot.
The center
Can I-
here is a crypt, right? Or is that the hut?
It's a hut.
Okay, right. I was just confused.
I'm sorry, what was that, Courtney?
Can I just do a quick see invisibility?
Yeah.
I just want to cast that and have that going.
And your
I
character
think
is not incredibly pleased probably by what she is greeted by her invisible seeing vision.
Oh,
Because as you blink and turn on your... Okay, I can see the invisible now. The graves. The graves. And the ghosts that linger around them. Now your character cannot unsee. The wailing spirits as they move, tethered to where their bodies are laid to rest, unable to move on to whatever form of comfort and afterlife they might see. You see them moving along in shambles, their spirits broken and destroyed, clinging to the land. Though none of them appear to notice you or the party, trapped in their own locked hell. I will say as well, Alex's little familiar on his shoulder clearly would have seen this as well, with his ability to see things that are invisible. But he hasn't seemed to have taken major note of it, as things like this have become quite common for him to see. Bellamy probably keeps playing her music.
yep. I have my little pocket piano. Who's probably Flux is like the biggest, strongest looking person in the group.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
By
I am the
far.
strongest person in the group.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move behind her and just keep playing my pocket piano. I'm scared. There's ghosts everywhere, guys. I'm real scared.
Where are the ghosts?
They're literally everywhere. They're all over.
Your imp's going to nod, be like, yeah, boss, untethered spirits. Oh, you can't see them. My bad. The bodies, as he's pointing at the graves and all that, the spirits can't move on. They're stuck here because they're stuck in Avernus, because this was ripped from their mortal home, so taken from there to one. You know how these things work. It's a bit loopy, but yeah, lots of unhappy spirits here.
Oh. We go to the nicest places.
That is not what the
Shit.
owl is presently saying to Nimbar, but I'm not going to say out loud what he's saying to Nimbar, as that would be rude. He's not blaming Nimbar, he's talking about the area they find themselves in.
No.
So should we give a shout out, like a hello, to see if someone lives here, or should we quietly approach the hut?
I'd be inclined to say quietly, but like maybe knock.
Because
I don't think we should try and sneak up, but we don't. At the same time, we don't have to announce ourselves.
as a
Yeah.
caveat to being quiet, Alec will just finger tap the ship. Not subtle. This is.
Very true. Oh, do I see any of the obsidian dolls running around?
Not at the moment, no.
I'm gonna keep a sharp eye for any of that nonsense.
You see a deer. It takes a moment as it looks right towards you. Just stares at you in the woods. A good 15
Stare
seconds.
back.
It's just that eye lock. Before its tail pops up and it hears something in the distance. And it just runs off. Not like a
I feel
bat
like
out of
we
hell.
had a good moment.
Little bits of nature here and there. Poor Alec gets to see it at the last second, like, oh, a deer, and it's gone. Oh.
It's alright, I've called over a raven, I'm quite happy.
And it's just comfortably sitting on your head.
Jealous at all.
Nimbar just having a little conversation with like the raven and the owl.
And the raven is going on and on about how hard it is to eat a specific type of worm that grows here. But he does it. Just tastes bad. But he does it. Raven's gotta eat.
So everything here looks normal, like the trees, like it doesn't, like if we didn't know that we were in Avernus, we wouldn't know. Like things look normal here.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well, creepy as hell, but yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like it's torn from like the material plane onto here. Hence why I can have an owl, not an imp.
Oh.
Like coincidentally, the imp is probably like better to have with us. But Sir Junior wants to be an owl.
Oh yeah.
He's got class.
He's comfortably sitting on your shoulder, pecking at his feathers. Well, the question remains, and you can all freely move your minis around the map. Are you gonna go check out the house on Haunted Hill?
Yeah.
Oh, I am.
No,
Uh,
very good.
How dark is it right now? Like where we are? Because this looks like a dark map, but I don't know if that's.
Always a little bit dark. It's always supposed to be dusk because of the setting suns of Avernus across the sky, the 9 of them. So it's always a little bit. But here, it's a step off from being dark vision required.
Okay.
And that's
Would it
due to
be-
the coverage from the woods itself.
Is it dark enough that we'd be suffering disadvantage on attacks?
No, it's low light essentially at this point.
Okay.
So you're not in complete darkness, but it's creepy atmosphere. Low light would be what the present situation is. Because there is a difference between the two situations for spellcasting, right? Like there are some nice teleports, but you can only do them through pure darkness. So things like that would not apply here at the moment.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of I was just wondering if I should pop a light spell.
Oh, I see. I was trying to figure out what this little ditch was, but I just realised it's a path.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Is it?
God's
Is
sake.
it the path?
Yeah, it goes right up to the hut. To the hut.
Yep.
So.
There is a small hewn path. And I've put a one-way wall for view purposes at the edges of these points. So that when you're clicked on your character, you can't see through them, but once you've moved past them, you'll be able to see through them. You know, representing that you're going higher on a cliff. You can't see up that way that well,
Oh,
but
that's what's happening.
Is Alec able to read any of the grave markers or gravestones just to get a sense of maybe where this place was?
they are ancient and decrepit and worn, but a few of the names and history names are there. If you want, you can do a knowledge history check to try to place them.
Can I try and talk to one of the ghosts?
Yeah. I will admit, though, as you come up and you're like, hey, you receive no response from these poor lost souls who seem to be stuck in their own way. The one that you come up to talk to try to get the attention of, whether that's Bellamy waving a hand in their face or yelling at them, is bemoaning about how they have to get to the market. They need to pick up some fresh bread for supper. If they don't get fresh bread for supper, they're going to be hungry, and they won't be able to be a good fighter if they're hungry. So they need to get to the market today, because if they don't get to the market today, they need to get fresh bread for supper. And if they don't get fresh bread, and you can see the poor
Wow.
souls repeating With a history of 3, you've got no clue. You're like, yeah, pretty old. I don't recognize these names or the stylizations.
Do you ask Nimbar? Because Nimbar is an old guy.
I don't think he's concerned enough with where it's from to.
Yeah, Nimbar kind of got lost in the forest, as the saying goes.
It's pretty much a case of Alec was walking along, paused, leaned on his staff, and had to look at the gravestones. It's
fair enough.
He's not overly troubled.
Nothing you can place.
So when they get here, do I hear anything from inside the hut?
Dead silence. The door itself, wooden and worn, appears somewhat cracked and fragile. You doubt it's even locked.
Do we want to knock before we get... I feel like we should knock.
Yeah.
Nimbar knocks 3 times on the door.
And there is no response.
Oh.
I'm gonna open the door.
Time like the present. Oh, you're going for it. Okay.
Nimbar's gonna open the door.
I want to double check, but did I actually detect the magic presence in the sarcophagus, or was it too thick for me?
Yes, in the sarcophagus and inside of the hut. And as for that hut, as Nimbar opens it, feel free to open that. Unless, is Jade opening up that sarcophagus?
No, I would like to do a history check to see if I can recognize it.
Sure. Same sort of thing for the names. For the life of you, if you see a couple of these names as you go over them, you've never heard of them in history. But you have in stories. It'd be as if you saw the name Gaston written on one of them, you know? Heroes and warriors from tales of lore that are not of your world. Not stories of people that you've ever known to live. But yet here they are, the bodies. At least it's the only thing you can represent it to, is a tale you were told when you were younger. You know, like a fairy tale or something of the sort. The names match up with that. Powerful heroes of great valor and strength. Nimbar, on the other hand. You're greeted with the sight of what appears to be a small room with a makeshift bed in the corner. But that's probably not what grabbed your attention, is it now?
I knew it.
You can see, seated on the bed, staring towards you at the door, is an obsidian doll.
Sorry, boss. You have a nice day. Close the door.
Just close that door back up. Yeah.
And Nimbar casually closes the door. Nope, sorry, boss, nope.
Nimbar will then start, heading back to the other.
Yep, Bellamy's just gonna follow behind. That was none of our business.
And as if the god of luck itself was on your side, it doesn't come running through that door after you. You make it back to the others like, nope, we noped out of there, nope. Nothing seems to happen.
Oh.
Was
Didn't
it?
chase us.
I'm going to bring that up to their attention for the record.
Was it?
Jade's like, yeah, whatever, staring at a sarcophagus.
Is it active? Did it twitch at all?
I don't think so, but I didn't give it much time.
Did you?
I assume I didn't see it move. It was open and closed fairly quickly.
You know what? Your character's response when asked, did it move?
Okay, can I go back up to the house then?
No.
You can.
No.
He's starting to walk. Nimbar's grabbing her by the leg. No. But
Is
no,
it like when
Bellamy
a
totally
toddler
can.
grabs onto your ankle, you can still walk?
Exactly.
I just want to go back up and just open the door a little bit and just peek in and just watch it for a second.
Okay. You want that? Jade will go 5, 10. Oh, hang on. There. And from here, Jade will cast a spell.
You cast what now? Oh, Thaumaturgy. Yeah.
Jade opens the door for you.
Ah, thanks, Jade.
And it's still sitting on the bed, staring straight at the door.
It's not. I mean,
Eyeless.
is there? In their rock, right? So they wouldn't breathe. But like, is there any sign of?
That eyeless face
Life?
stares back at you without so much as a single twitch.
Can I pick up a rock?
Yes.
Stone.
Could,
And I'm just gonna throw it in, not at it. I'm not gonna try and hit it. I just want to throw it like, just like, clickety clack across the floor.
Tack, tack, tack. No trouble. The obsidian drone seems to make no movement, for or against you.
could Alex say hello in Primordial?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Not even a response.
I'm going in.
No trouble. As you take a 5-foot step into the room.
It just sits there.
I mean, I'll admit at this point, Rhea has gone all tanky, and she's like walking in with you, like,
You're not going in alone. Don't be silly. That'll be a bad ending.